Greetings to you all, and as I would say, welcome to this broadcast. As you join, please indicate to me whether you hear me clearly. I'm trying to monitor. I shall do so. I'll try to monitor that which you're saying, so that I can be in tune with your comments, because I normally get to see them when I'm using this platform called StreamYard. So welcome. As you can see, we're speaking tonight to V-PAC member Ricardo Scarce, Mr. Bess's gross misrepresentation of the truth. I welcome you to this broadcast, and my role here would be multiple in terms of its fold. One would be to present you with, as you would know, irrefutable evidence. Because you know what I do. Irrefutable. For those who would need help, evidence that you cannot destroy with counter evidence. It is my responsibility to ensure that transparency, accountability, fairness, justice, and what is proper must always be the vanguard of anything that I find myself in. Those of you who have interactions with me for a while, especially those of you who classify as saints, you know how I operate. Those of you who know me from the social world, my societal position, you are also familiar with how I function. And it has not changed. It shall not change. It shall remain the same. I do not tolerate. I shall never tolerate or be a partner of anything or party to anything that speaks to injustice or any form of abuse to female or females. You know me. It is well. I would like to encourage you, as you pay attention this evening, to please pay attention to what is said and what is shown, and do not be distracted by that which is deliberately intended to grab your attention from what is being presented to you. I would like to also encourage those of you who are discouraged at this time to say that, well, there's a coalition and things are falling apart apparently, and there you have a challenge accepting that there is a challenge and there are issues, and more so this is being ventilated publicly and you shouldn't wash your dirty linen in public and so on. I understand all that you're saying. I would like to also submit to you that the culture of this world is now different. And when cultures change, we must be prepared to address that change and function in that space of change. It is unhealthy for an individual's reputation, their character, and their social responsibility. It's unhealthy for an individual to sit and allow what is untrue to be continuously spewed by people who have societal responsibility. Now there's a difference. I normally said on the campaign, you could say whatever you want about me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. But be very careful as to how you treat with my family and those who concern me, because it would be a different game if you do that. Rico Scarce has decided that he wants to find out what happens if that were to be done. Apparently, When you are in an environment of aggression, of harassment, of intimidation or an effort to intimidate, then it is extremely critical for responsible people to take the floor, and to deal with this matter in a frontal way. You would have noticed that I've been very quiet. A lot is being said. I have not said anything apart from joining Amanza yesterday evening because it was unbelievable to know that someone would have left a group chat, called her repeatedly, and when she did not answer, or he thinks she's not going to answer, decide to send her a private message, which was sent to me by a member of VPAC. And that message was read by Amanza, that you have one last chance. I am giving you one last chance to make it right with VPAC before I burn this bridge. I would like to submit to you that it is necessary for me to keep my promise to all Guyanese, which is that I do not subscribe to individuals being public in their disrespect, their threatening behavior, their intimidatory actions, bullying of especially a female. And then I go quietly somewhere to talk, my tail between my legs and say nothing. I wouldn't do that. Even if I were the president of this country, it's not going to happen. I'm not Irfan Ali who, when Damlal did what he did, or was accused of doing what he would have done, sit quietly when, what's his name? Sharon Das told him that she wants the dog to F her. Ali sat quietly, not this person here. If you are going to be in any way disrespectful to a female, I shall deal with you. If someone is going to deliberately seek to misrepresent the truth and to deceive people, I will come forward and deal with it. Now, what I would love to do this evening is to encourage you again, who being discouraged, to appreciate disagreements. Note, as the leader of the people's movement, I would have said to you that the people's movement was founded on disagreement. I made a deliberate choice that when it comes to the people's movement, it shall be founded on disagreement. What does that mean? That we have to understand the 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 right of people to disagree. It is okay. You've heard me say that on the People's Movement show ad nauseum on many occasions, that it is okay to disagree. Fine. Even publicly, because you're now in a social space called social media. It occupies and accounts for so many hours of our day. Some people live on it. Some people, that's how they earn money from it. That's how they earn a living. So we cannot be afraid to engage in these matters. It's okay. The world wouldn't end because some people have a fight in public. No, it is fine. Disagreements, even on social platforms, are okay. This is not the PPP, where women can be treated in whatever manner, or you know their issues, but you're compelled to be quiet. That's how dictators function, not me. What I do tell people is that for as long as you choose to go public with anything, be prepared to defend it. Be prepared to present the facts about it. Do not go publicly with anything, and then you don't have the means to stand up for what you're saying, what you said. It is okay. Why do you think that when people disagree, they have an argument, the world is going to stop? Additionally, there are times when you discover things about an individual or a group of people, and there, after that discovery, you have to make a decision. That is also okay. May I submit to you that there is never going to be a day in my life when a political party matters more to me than a person or than people. When you have like a situation where in the PNC, when an individual said that their leader then would have some years ago threatened or asked her, what if I put this gun to your head or something to that effect and rape you? And she said, well, you have to kill me. Of course, not in those polite terms, according to the report of the person. Persons were saying, how could she do this? Listen to this. She's going to destroy the party. And you remember I did 2 or 3 broadcasts to say, now, how are you telling me that a female has accused a man of threatening her, suggesting that he could use a gun to rape her, to force her to give him sexual intercourse? And you're going to say that this person wants to destroy the party? You all remember that? Because I was livid. I couldn't believe that people could actually say that the party matters more than a person. Now, when you have that mentality, it speaks here being bound to an ideology that is party oriented, which is I am PVP for life. I am Forgan movement for life. I am PNC for life. I am this. Not I am a person who values people. Now, this is not the spirit in which I function. So there's no party that's more important to me than an individual. Everything can fail. Everything would fail. But love must always endure. And love does not celebrate what is wrong. Love isn't nice and pious and all chummy chummy. Love has a principle which it functions. And that principle is that it does not celebrate or endorse what is wrong. I would like to present you with irrefutable evidence. There are persons who would have said, including the V-PAC uh, release with Darwin Bess, his image on it, permitting to present you with the facts. Because I believe in presenting facts. Now, when I see something of this nature, Darwin Bess is in the foreground. Amanza Walton Desir is to his right. And he says, Amanda Walton Desir exposed for her bullying, dishonesty, opportunism, and betrayals. Now, when VPAC is going to say that, I'm going to have a problem with this. And the problem that I shall have is that no man, no group of men, which VPAC essentially is, I don't see any female around them. No, at no time would I expect Darwin to do this. Under no circumstance would I expect Darwin to have his image here, doing this to somebody he calls his sister. This is not about party, this is about a person. So now a man is being considered to be a bully, knowing that there's already out there, as she said at the rally, attempts to assassinate her character and to defame her. And she, of course, she laughs at people said she beat up men. And this is what she was going to do. This is not about washing dirty laundry. This is the whole laundromat out here right now. Because I don't want any secret conversation if a man is going to do this publicly. Dishonesty? This is an attorney, a maritime attorney, space travel. Maybe the only one we have in Guyana. An aviation attorney. How could somebody say that Amanza is dishonest and she's an attorney? When this is done, what do you expect? What do you expect me to do as a man who you know that I am highly intolerant of these behaviors? I have said at a political forum, at one of our public meetings, and I'll say it to you all again, if I am in VPAC, in Forward Ghana movement, even if you were in administration at this time, and I find any minister, I told you that, and I mean it, any one of the ministers or anybody to be involved in underhanded deals and kickback business, I said, promised you that I will expose the person publicly. This is no don't wash your laundry in public. You will go to jail. I don't care who you are. I do not care who you are. So further, there's a statement that came from Bess's pen that Amanza abandoned an agreement to rotate the seats. I'll show you irrefutable evidence. And that in this abandonment, it became 60-40. 60% of the time she'll be there, now she'll be there 40% of the time. And Bess said nothing else. Now, my brothers and my sisters, let's go to July 1st. I deal with irrefutable evidence. See, that's how I function. I don't function any other way. I don't function in emotions. I bring Rico Scarce here and all of them to this platform. I don't function in emotions. Coalition of Courage. This is what we signed to. I'm showing you the preamble to it, okay? This is the agreement. Let me show you the agreement here. We, the members, and I'll read for those who are a bit slow on the other side. We, the members of Forward Guyana, the People's Movement, this was we signed on July 1st, and the Vigilant People's Action Committee, VPAC, have joined forces, listen to this carefully, to create the Forward Guyana movement. Are you with me here? Because I'm showing you the facts. Okay? Let's see what we agreed to and signed to. A coalition, a people powered alternative to the status quo. A coalition that brings together principled political actors, civil society, youth, farmers, faith leaders, public servants, and concerned citizens to build a just, inclusive, and modern Guyana. We are committed, please pay attention to this part. This is the agreement. We are committed to presenting a unified slate of candidates to contest the September 1, 2025 general and regional elections. I repeat, we are committed to presenting a unified slate, one slate, not a joinder agreement, one unified slate of candidates to contest the September 1, 2025 general and regional elections. We further commit to a clear reform agenda and a bold vision for transformation, not just to win office, but to earn the trust of the people and reshape politics in Guyana forever. Brothers and sisters, those of you who are committed to being honest and truthful, do you see anything in what you've just read, or do you hear anything that speaks to rotation of any seat in a signed agreement? Y'all please tell me the truth and don't waste my time. And being as nice as possible to even though the trolls were here. Do you see plainly, unambiguously, pellucidly? Do you see that it speaks plainly to contesting the elections with one combined slate? Is that what it stated? Do you see that? So are you to believe? Are you to believe that somebody couldn't read? Now, we must be careful to speak to agreements that are signed and discussions that are had. It is dishonest to not speak to agreements that are signed and then just talk about discussions that are being had. Mind you, not discussions that are closed. You all know me. And you should know that I would not function in any environment where we cannot have the truth as what guides us. I don't care if it's church, if it's construction work that I do, if it's business. If you're not going to be honest, we'll have a problem. Let me show it to you again. This is what was signed to. This is an agreement. This is an agreement to which parties have signed. Second paragraph. We are committed to presenting a unified slate of candidates to contest the September 1, 2025 general and regional elections. Oh my goodness. If you have signed to a unified list to contest the elections, okay. Because I realize some of you are being deliberately slow, which is acceptable, which is expected. If you have decided that you present a unified list, it means a unified slate. It means that there's no more Forward Guyana, the People's Movement, and V-PAC as separate entities. That is not a unified slate. If you are separate entities, it's called a joinder arrangement, where every party contests on their own. You get the number of votes that are cast, if any, and then the party with the most votes will get the seat, the first seat. And the remainder will go to the one with the second, with more votes, and then the third will go to the ones with the lower number. That is the law. You know what the problem is in Guyana? That people don't like to read. They are lazy in many instances. And many people prefer to be on social media and just listen to what somebody says. Oh, I could run with that. Because I don't like this person, I'll run with that. It is irresponsible, and I don't tolerate that in a serious environment. There was no signed agreement to rotate anything because Parliament doesn't know how to rotate. Because this is what a rotation looks like. Okay? It's not for us to rotate, it means you have to come back to a 360-degree completion of an angle. Now, you see, this is where you make me misbehave sometimes. This here is almost circular. If I'm going to rotate, I have to get back to where I've started. That's what is called a rotation. If I go halfway, it's called an arc. Now, for heaven's sake, why some of you don't sit in math class and pay attention? Why didn't you do that for your life? Huh? So what may have been spoken about is a shared or a sharing of time spent in the House Assembly.
So before this agreement was signed, there would have been discussions being had. Listen, we could possibly go 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That's a discussion. That's not a contract. Further, it could have been one person go for a particular period of time and another go for another period of time, because you have a presidential candidate and a prime ministerial candidate. That's another discussion. In that discussion, let me get to the other part for y'all. After September 1st, the people's movement, because we have responsible folk on this side, we have folk who understand law, we have actually a general secretary who's a lawyer. That's how serious we are. We said we understood that the agreement is for the 1st of September. It ends at election. Therefore, the expectation will be to have a conversation thereafter about how do we move forward. I made an effort, this person here, to reach out to say that this is time for us to have the conversation, because elections are over. The GCOM, whatever they did, they announced the results. Based on GCOM's results, we have to have a conversation. Okay? Does that not sound like a responsible thing to do? I would like to think so. And I'm asking Mr. Bess to come to present the facts, because he normally claims that he does. On Thursday, I think last week, I said that I am going to present myself in Georgetown. I live in Linden. I will come for us to have a conversation about the way forward, because you're talking on the phone. Let us have a conversation, because it makes sense. The coalition, the agreement to enter the election as a combined slate has ended. Now we must discuss how do we move forward. Do you see a sequence here? There is not we shall do this. It is we can do this. We can consider these things. Do you understand the difference? There's a difference between we are going to do something and we can consider and have discussions about something. I would that somebody could understand the difference. There's one scenario where somebody could say, this is what we shall do. There's another that says that this is what we have to consider doing. There's a difference. Let's have a conversation about what we will do. Okay. When I traveled to the city for the said meeting, Mr. Bess did not present himself. I even said to all that it is good for us to have ventilation, because you've been through a very rigorous 2-month process. Candidates, signatures, making it to nomination day, then one of the most rigorous times of my life in campaigning all across 7 regions. It's hard, it's tough. So we've been through a whole lot. We didn't have time to have many conversations that we should have. Now that the dust has settled a little bit, let us have a conversation. And we will analyze, as 3 leaders, we will analyze how these elections have been run. And whatever issues we have, we'll speak to them. Does that not sound to you as though there was an opportunity for persons to have a face-to-face interaction in private to say how things were going and whatever they were upset about? Yes. One individual did not present himself. That's the first chance. The second opportunity, I was in Bess, and they were witnesses to this. And I received a phone call being informed that there's some documentation about an issue that VPAC has. So we have the second occasion here. On a Sunday afternoon, I said, I said that I will come to Georgetown on Monday at 1 p.m. Mr. Bess knows how I function. Do you know how I function? All you know how I function. I shall present, and anyone who wants to debate what I've said, permit me, just do that, to show followers enemies, and friends the truth. I said that I will present myself in Georgetown because there's a problem. I thought last week, Thursday, we should have had a discussion about certain problems. Okay, it didn't happen. So I now said, fine, I'll come to Georgetown on Monday, 1 o'clock. Let's have a conversation. Mr. Bess said, yes, excellent. He was asked, which would make sense. If you request a meeting through this letter that was sent, then it's obvious. Just name the place and we'll be there. Mr. Bess promised he'll get back to us regarding where we're going to meet. That's Sunday. I reminded through text, please remember that I have to travel from Bess. I'm going into Linden, then come back to Georgetown just for this meeting. And nowadays, I have to leave Linden at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes for a 9 o'clock meeting. If it's 1 in the afternoon, I have to leave at 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning for a 1 o'clock meeting. Sometimes I'm stuck in traffic on the East Bank for 4 hours, as was the case when I missed the press conference about GCOM story. So I'm the only one who travels from Linden here. It was not easy, but I said I will do it. I asked to be considered. There was no response as to where we were going to meet. I asked again. There was no response. An email was sent to please have consideration for me, for Nigel, because he has to travel. No response. On Monday morning, no response. When it was time for the meeting to be held, another letter came. Oh, since we didn't have a chance to meet, not I'm apologizing, not I'm sorry for this. Since we didn't get a chance to meet, here's another agenda. And here is a suggested constitution. Now you see, if you all know me well enough, I don't tolerate disrespect like that because nobody will do it to me. So that's a second meeting that the chairman didn't show up for. It was therefore suggested that let us have, since there's all these concerns about what's some transparency and no, let us have what we were supposed to have all along, which is a close-out meeting, which is in the media. Let us have this meeting where we are able to show financial records and all the rest of it. Let me present to you evidence. That's how I function. I don't function by anything else. This was sent to VPAC. This was sent to Forward Ghana. This was also sent to the People's Movement. Members of leadership and campaign team are hereby notified that a campaign closeout meeting will be held as follows. Date, Monday, 23rd September. Okay? Time. Do you see that? Okay. Venue. You have the whole agenda. Let me present you with the facts. Do you see number 3 that speaks to, or number 2, campaign overview? Okay. You see number 3 that speaks to financial reports? I'm not you can see the screen. I hope you can zoom in. Number 6, item number 6 on the agenda. Next steps for the movement. Do you notice here clearly that you have an opportunity to say what you intend to do going forward? Number 7, feedback and open floor. Do you notice that there are at least 3 occasions in which we can have matters dealt with? Five or 3 minutes before that meeting, another correspondence was sent that VPAC could not come to any meeting. Now, if someone is writing publicly to say that Amanza did not facilitate, because this is all about Amanza, did not facilitate hearing grievances and all the rest of it, how could you not show up to the meeting to have matters addressed? Now, it bothers me. So since we're going to play this social media game, let's play the game. If there is an agenda for a meeting that's sent to all long before that this is what we'll talk about, I would like to think that common sense would dictate that if I have something to say, I see the agenda speaks to an open floor. it speaks to discussing the way forward. And if you have questions about money, it speaks to financial reports. So I need to come to see what's happening and present my report too. That's how I would reason. That's the third time the individual did not show up. So am I supposed to believe, and are you supposed to believe, that there's an intention to have anything ventilated privately? Y'all tell me, please. Because I'm on the slow side of the fence here. If anybody from VPAC intended to have not dirty laundry wash in public, but for us to have a private conversation, would there not be a presence on at least 3 attempts that were made by me and Forward Ghana? I am showing you the evidence. And if they like, I can show you the letters that were sent. Now, so that takes care of, as far as I'm concerned, what I consider to be efforts made to misrepresent what happened. There was never an agreement signed about who would go to seat, where, and all. No, none of that. The agreement was signed to have us enter as one combined slate. Now, here's where I'm going to ask all of the wise people in VPAC, Forward Ghana, the People's Movement, PPP, PNC, wherever you're from, because some of you are delighted to know that there's a challenge over here. I'll ask you a very simple question. If Amanza Walton Desir was registered for nomination as the presidential candidate, I'm asking VPAC and all that to answer the question. If Forward Ghana Movement had won the election, because Claudette and others said, hey, we're going to work with London and Amanza and those, and we won the election, I want you to answer me a common sense question that I thought I didn't have to ask. Would Amanza have to rotate the seat of the president? Since we're 3 parties and everything has to be take a turn, come off the swinger or the seesaw. It's my turn to be on the seesaw. Hop off the bike. It's my turn to ride the bike. Just answer me the common sense question. If we had won the election, would Amanza have to rotate the presidency? So it's 1/3 Amanza president, 1/3 Nigel president, 1/3. Well, Darwin is not a candidate because he's not. He's dual citizen, so he cannot be a candidate. So would it be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3? Y'all please help me to understand, because you have to break it down to me in small pieces. Since we're on the slow side tonight, if we were declared the winners of the 2025 general and regional elections, would there be a rotation of the presidential seat? If you say no, then you have to help me to understand how there's an agreement for us to rotate, but we're not rotating presidency. Help me, please. I admit, I confess I'm slow. I'm not that bright. I'm not bright like Irfan. So help me to understand the maths. So if you are not going to rotate the presidency, it means that somebody is aware that somebody who is presidential candidate then has the first option to lead. Good. But still, the discussion was, let us meet face to face. Let us discuss how we shall function in Parliament. How much fairer can somebody be to say, let us all come and talk. Let us talk. Amanza as well agreed. He agreed, but he didn't show up. Let us come and have the conversation about how we function, because it's 1 seat we have in the House of Assembly. We didn't have 10, 15, 20, 35, 40, 46, 36. So let's come and talk, because if Amanza were president, I would have been prime minister. Would there be a rotation of that too? No. There has to be a basic human understanding that when we speak to political movements, entering into an electoral cycle where seats are allotted, you must please be wise enough to know that if you have someone called a presidential candidate, that is your premier candidate. Isn't that the most commonsensical thing? No, I'm asking you because I need somebody to help me to understand this. Do you rotate because you tripartite, so you have to rotate presidency, rotate prime ministerial position, rotate all ministers' position? So let us go through even further. This other matter with this boy. So we get to Rico Scarce now. And Rico Scarce is a member of VPAC. Honestly speaking, I've met 4 members of VPAC: Darwin Bess, Francis Bailey, Rico Scarce, and Richie. The others went to win, as far as I'm aware. Some others didn't contest. So 4 I'm aware of. Rico Scarce does not live in Guyana. Rico Scarce did not campaign for 20 seconds once we launched the campaign, in reference to the event we had in Indonesia, the Family Day. And we began to work in earnest. I do not even think whether Rico Scarce voted. I don't think he voted because he wasn't here. Now, it is important for you to understand that this is not an ethnic conversation, because it is not, Rico Scarce is not African Guyanese. And Forward Ghana movement is a multi-ethnic movement, which is why I speak to people. But I find it interesting that, let me present to you what the accusation is first. That Darwin Bess would level an accusation of this nature, as you would have seen it. Let me remove myself from the screen. Okay, see that? And in that, look at what was said. So we get into Rico Scarce here now. I'm just reading an excerpt. But betrayal of trust was the only the beginning. When a VPAC member, this is where Rico Scarce comes in. When a VPAC, and the text that was sent to Manza after she didn't answer her phone for whatever reason, and this fellow reached out to her inbox, okay. When a VPAC member pressed the coalition, listen to this, the coalition leadership to denounce a blatantly racist public statement, Walton Desir and London refused. London deflected. Walton Desir went silent. And when pressed to answer directly whether they condoned racism, Walton Desir chose the coward's path and went live on Facebook, fabricating a story that VPAC had threatened her. Do you see now? Now I want you all to tell me about washing dirty laundry. Am I supposed to meet in a private room to talk about this with people who went public to say this? This level of my God. When someone can be this mendacious, this dishonest, it is frightening to me. And I only have one option left. So I present to you what was said today and released, and the media grabbed it, press, and say, "Oh, there's a problem in Ford Ghana movement." There's no problem here. What there is a revelation that brings liberty to me. Let me show you what this Ricardo Scarce fellow is talking about, and you all the judge. So note, and I'm coming back. This is a minute. So Bess wrote, "Betrayal of trust was the beginning when a VPAC member pressed the coalition, Ricardo Scarce pressed the coalition leadership to denounce blatantly a racist public statement. Walton Desir in London refused." Do you see Bess saying that he denounced it? No. So let us see what this issue is. And I'll play the video for you.
And how it will make you angry. Under my let me tell you the difference between Indian people and Koli people. I just made a post about the frequent blackout we getting in Guyana and how it will make you angry. Under my post, a set of Koli come out and start attack a set of irrelevant lies. Plus it's irrelevant and plus it's lies. You understand? Not one Indian would come and say something like that, because Indian people know that when one person in a community is affected, everybody's affected, because they don't know we are one. We're not Koli people. They can never understand this chauvinist. And so is the same with black people. Them different, them last, them corrupt. They can never be Africans or Archibulans. Never.
I deal with facts and truth. Now help me to understand, please. How could this person, that's what you see, Ricardo Scarce, and that's what you said, came after a private chat, suggesting that I condone racism. Now, first I want to help you to understand, if somebody speak about black people and Koli people, according to what you've heard, how is this person racist? Because you have to help me to understand. If I speak about two people in the equal manner, which side am I on? If this individual spoke to two people, I need some help. Because to be racist, one has to think of themselves based on the ethnicity as being superior to another person of a different ethnicity. Now, this is what my issue is. And then the person, Ricardo Scarce, the same VPAC individual, had an issue with this young man who spoke about Charlie Kirk. And I asked Ricardo Scarce, and you'll see what I said to him in a minute, to do the most simple thing, which is to speak to the young man in question here. You don't have to come to the leadership of Ford Ghana movement. So you saw the video, okay. So from that video, this is what Bess presented to the public. This is public now. This is public. This is the public. Bess said that based on that video, this individual pressed the coalition membership or leadership to denounce a blatantly racist public statement. If it is racist, it cannot include two, unless it's a white man or a Chinese person who's speaking about Koli and black, or an Armenian person, but it cannot be someone who falls within the two groups. How does it even make sense? Y'all need to help me to understand this level of insanity here. I said plainly and most clearly to Mr. Scarce that he should speak to the individual. Because unless there's some deliberate effort to cause the public to think that Forward Ghana movement is in chaos and there's a problem and a man who wants to hog all the seats and a man is doing this, unless that's the plan, I can understand. But if that were not the plan, then why is there this behavior? If somebody says something that you consider to be you're in the same political group that is unhealthy or unethical, speak to the person. It's that simple to me. But I asked the question of Rico Scarce to tell me whether he agrees with Charlie Kirk that African descendants who suffered for 400 years, 280 years, as a matter of fact, 200 plus years of slavery, do you agree, like the UN does, do you agree that, with Charlie Kirk, as a matter of fact, I should say, that we do not deserve reparation? I asked him to tell me because I need to know where his mind was in reference to this Charlie Kirk situation. He couldn't say whether he agreed that with Charlie Kirk, who said that African descendants, those of us who were born out of those who were captured and tortured and murdered, raped, and the UN and other nations said, listen, African descendants deserve 2 decades, not 1. 2 decades were given to us based on how we suffered. Rico Scarce couldn't say whether he disagreed with Charlie Kirk or whether he agreed with Charlie Kirk about whether we deserve reparation. I am yet to see Rico Scarce's comment about Anil Nandlal, who said that Coffee was an upstanding house slave. And it's nothing about being called a house slave. I can't see his comment yet. Maybe somewhere lost in the mire. So what, this part, I need to pay careful attention to. Because Bess said what he did, okay? And said that this threat against Amanza was a blatant lie. Permit me. So ChatGPT will help us. This is what was sent to me by a member of VPAC. Hi, Amanza, I'm giving you one last chance to reconcile with VPAC. This is what Rico Scarce is saying. Before I burn the bridge. I asked ChatGPT because I say where my sources, unlike others who write speeches and say that they came from their heads. Now I asked, I show you where it came from. Short answer, because Darren Bess said that it's a blatant lie. Amanza has lied. She was never threatened. It's a blatant lie. Well, let's see what AI said. I asked AI, is it a threat? See that? Is this a threatening statement? Look at AI. ChatGPT. Yes, it is. It's threatening in tone, though not an explicit threat of physical violence. It is a threat. No, we're not done yet. No, we're not finished yet. Let's see why it says so. Why? AI is explaining. Why is it called? Why is it considered a threat? The phrase, I'm giving you one last chance, which is what Rico Scarce said, is an ultimatum. It pressures the other person to act or face consequences. Before I burn this bridge is a metaphor, meaning the speaker will permanently cut off the relationship or take irreversible action if the person does not comply. This implies punitive consequences, loss of access, reputation, or opportunities. We don't know what burning the bridge was. Further, let's see what, because VPAC said it's not a threat. Taken together, It's intimidation, coercion. It's meant to force reconciliation by threatening a harmful outcome, social, professional, reputational harm. It does not explicitly threaten bodily harm, property damage, or illegal acts. So in many jurisdictions, it wouldn't automatically meet the legal test for a violent threat, but it could still qualify as harassment, bullying, or intimidation, depending on context and local law. Now, Guyanese brothers and sisters, for heaven's sake, if a man said she would not be bullied, she would not be intimidated, she would not be threatened, she was threatened, is this not exactly what was done here? So how can somebody say it's not a threat? When the language is analyzed, and I ask even people, I'll ask you all tonight, since we wouldn't rely on that, let me ask you a simple question. If I tell you, I'm giving you one last chance to come and speak to me. If I say that to you, is it a threat? If I say to you, let's have a poll here. Let's have a poll here. If I say to you that I'm giving you one last chance, I am giving you one last chance to come and meet with me. Is that a threat? And then I add to it, before I burn this bridge, what does that mean? Do you take it as a compliment? Those of you who've suffered abuse, you women talking about, by the hands of men, you know that language very well. I give you one last chance to come in this car. What does that mean? If you know your man will normally beat you and kick you down the stairs, and he said, I give you one last chance to come in this car, what does that mean? Do not play this game. Unlike some of you, and I can see your comments, whose existence depends on politics, mine does not. In reference to governmental politics. So I don't have to have a position somewhere to function in society. And there is no political party that is so important to me that this would be swept away and hidden somewhere. No. You will know that Forward Ghana Movement will function based on a manza, based on my position, and hopefully others that I know. It will be an environment where women are safe. We shouldn't have 6 or 7% of us say being female, and they have to read this kind of stuff. What are you telling them? There's no private conversation to be had if anybody's going to say this is acceptable. So let's see if there's anything else to add to this. Look here. Let me just go through some slides for you that Ricardo Scarce and Darwin can condemn. Tell me if this is acceptable, because this is all public information here. Francis Michael Bailey, Asha Manza, Kisun 2.0 loading. Is this okay? Is this not bullying? Is this how you treat a female? Knowing that Asha Kisun has got the worst, as far as I'm concerned, conduct in reference to parliamentarian. So you're suggesting the manza is disingenuous? Darwin didn't condemn this. Ricardo Scarce hasn't come out to speak to this. Is this okay? Let's see what else Ricardo Scarce had to say. He's gone to Laura Batson now. She did a broadcast today. Rico has gone over there. Female again, coming after another female. Laura Batson, your attempt to smoke screen is pathetic. I remember before the 1st of September 2025, during the campaign season, we all agreed, we didn't campaign by the way, that hate and racism has no place in Forward Ghana coalition, hence the signing of the contract with the people. Nigel London, Eliakim, and Amanzi Walton didn't even get one whole seat, and their principles were already compromised. After female here, let me just show you his social media activity, this V-PAC member here. Oh, it gets better. Let me show you this one here. Rico Scarce again. In the midst of all of this seriousness, Andres Atkinson watching Amanza's testicular fortitude, and he's laughing. Okay? Look at this. This is Rico Scarce, who wants to talk about this individual who spoke about what he said with Charlie Kirk, which is in his private capacity, he said it. He's not a leader of V-PAC, leader for Ghana movement. He's not a leader. Now, so this is what Rico Scarce says. Watching Amanza's testicular fortitude. Then, if you think that this, because it could mean that a woman is strong. He and Amanza aren't friends. He's speaking to a member of parliament who would have been a presidential candidate. Look at his tone towards Amanza here. Look at this one. So the person responded to him. Okay, look at this. So Andres Atkinson said, if you had any sense, you would pay attention to it too. You're too focused on trying to be funny to even realize what's happening. What was happening? Look at this. Look at the Rico Scarce. But how come you didn't see them testicles all this time? You all read that. That's Ricardo. This is Ricardo here. Ricardo Scarce. Please pay attention. And let's see if Darwin will condemn this, because this is on social media here. But how come you didn't see them testicles all this time? Is this okay? I want you to tell me this is acceptable. I should say, oh, you shouldn't what? This person's not a leader. He's not a leader for Ghana movement. So if a man from VPAC could do this to the leader of Forward Ghana movement, what would they not do to the other females? Am I to think, Darwin, Bess, that this is acceptable? Is this how VPAC treats females? I do not accredit you with this behavior. I don't attribute it to you, but you're the leader, so I'm asking you. You talk about I deflected? This is crazy. Come on, man. So, my brothers and sisters, let me present you the part we spoke to Ambassador. I refuse to say whether I condone racism. Let me make this clear to all y'all. There are some questions that are considered to be disrespectful, crass, and plainly stupid. If anybody in the Forward Ghana movement or any part of this world is going to ask me of all people or Amanza whether I condone racism, it is a stupid question to ask. I don't tolerate disrespect. And there'll be no occasion when anybody thinks that they could come into any space that I occupy to ask me a question that is deemed to be very stupid, disrespectful, and just crass. Am I supposed to say, no, I don't condone racism? Really? When it was said in the most simple term, go to the individual and have a conversation, because I don't know what is racist about somebody who's speaking to two ethnic groups at the same time. And he's addressing his view about terms used to describe two groups of people. One is more endearing than the other. Listen to me, y'all. Y'all listen to me very clearly. There's nobody named Rico Scarce or any other Scarce who could tell me that they could have the nerve to come and ask me if I condone racism. You're being disrespectful and being very stupid. Do not even try it. And for Darwin Bess' sake, since you want to do what you've done, I will say this to all and sundry. The same Rico Scarce said that he's given Darwin Bess and Amanza an opportunity to answer the question. And if they don't respond in that chat group, then you'll believe that they uphold my position. What is my position in the first place? Darwin Bess never responded. So for this to come to the internet, on social media, to suggest that I did not respond, I deflected, and Manza didn't respond, it is disingenuous because Darwin never responded. And to suggest that the reason why Amanza went and did the live is because she did not say whether she condones racism, it is ridiculous. She went to no broadcast because Rico Scarce said what I've shown you, it came from VPAC. This is why she went to do the broadcast. Hi, Amanza, I'm giving you one last chance to reconcile with VPAC. That's why she did the broadcast. It wasn't because she didn't answer this question. And we're not going to do that. We shall not ever be allowed to escape with this nonsense in attacking any female. Brothers and sisters, I have made myself clear. And I would like to inform all of you that this is where my interaction ends. I am not going to spend another minute on any platform wasting my time on a matter that, as far as I'm concerned, I have presented to you the evidence. Let them come with the evidence now. Let anybody else present something that's contrary to what I've said. Amanza is your daughter? Which man in their right mind could tell Amanza or any female who concerns me, you have one last chance to make it right with VPAC? There is no issue on the part of the people's movement with the ethics, the mannerism, and the sheer class that surrounds Forward Ghana movement. What there is an issue with is men who will take to social media and in a public space seek to bully, intimidate, and disrespect the leader of this movement or any other female. There is politics to me, and there's a line to be drawn. I am not like some of y'all who are so emotionally unstable that because I came here and speak tonight, you are so troubled and you can't sleep. Do not do that. And if Darwin Bess desires to have this reconciled, he shall do the right thing. If VPAC wants to have this reconciled, they will condemn any man who does this to a female. We are not playing this game. A message must be sent to all men that you're not going to disrespect females and get away with it. So if some believe that you should not have voted for VPAC or for Forward Ghana movement because, you know, we have this problem, don't do it. Don't vote in the other cycle then. Because if your view is that we should keep this internal, when people go out there and do what they've done when they were given at least three opportunities to have a conversation face to face, don't vote for us. Go for the PPP, please. It's better on that side when it comes to women are abused. Maybe that's a better environment. But over here, there is no vote that matters more to me than the voice of a man who speaks for women's freedom, protection, and their safety. No vote is more important than that. Melissa Ann Atwell was not a member of V-PAC, is not a member of Ford Ghana, is not a member of any party as far as she would have said. And when I found out that the PPP used lobbyists to try to get her to come to Guyana, what did you see me do? Let's be straight. What did you see me do as a man in my country? Did you see me say, well, after all, Melissa is not a member of the People's Movement, so I really don't have to do anything? What did you see me do? Let's have a conversation, because like some of y'all don't know who we're dealing with, who I am. I have become a different person. No man is going to intimidate any woman or threaten her in my presence in any space, private or online, public or otherwise, and I would sit back and say nothing. No way. You're not getting away with this. Because my silence when women are being intimidated or being harassed speaks to my being complicit. And I stood up to the whole PPP and said, y'all are wrong to Melissa Ann Atwell. And it's not going down like that. When Charan Das said what he said to the woman in India, I don't know the woman in India, but what did you see me do? Also, let me get this clear. So when it comes to females who are not in Ford Ghana movement or somewhere outside, I can stand for them publicly. But when it comes to this political party, oh, because people have to vote for you, you have to be so nice and don't let anybody know what's happening. Not here. Not here. If any man, I'm warning you all now, if any male wants to intimidate a female in my space, be it political party, be it ministry in terms of church, be it socially, I am going to have a problem with you. So if you men, and I find it strange that women are objecting to my speaking to this. So you okay with people being abused on social platforms? This is abusive behavior. And if anyone wants to go further than this, we shall. You've heard me sit at forums, and I've said, listen, Amanza is the leader of Ford Ghana movement. When she speaks, I would like to, of course, allow her to have a conversation, to show respect. I am a man, I don't have to question who I am. But we have to learn how to function properly. So I was leading by example to show other men this is how you treat a female leader. You don't try to talk over her. You don't try to out-talk her. This is your presidential candidate. Respect the person. If you have a problem with my coming to the public to address any man who wants to harass, intimidate, bully, or threaten a female, you're the problem, not me. If you wish to tell me that there was any agreement and it was signed that we should rotate, which doesn't happen, but you want to say so, fine. If you said there's an agreement that we agreed to, we signed to operate until the 1st of September, that's an agreement. It was honored. If you're given an opportunity to come and speak to what happens after the 1st September, and you refuse, it cannot be a man's issue. Now, I am issuing a very, very careful and serious warning, because defaming people is not a game. And I don't play schoolboy or nursery school politics. I don't play at all when it comes to political affairs in my country. You are not going to intimidate, defame in any way, or harass a female and get away with it. You remember when Darmlal stood in assembly and told Natasha Singh that she wants to delay? Remember what I said? I said, if I were in assembly, I'd slap you. That's what I said. Me. And I meant it. I don't mind if I were kicked out of parliament forever. I'll beat. Listen, I want them to try certain things when it comes to females. I said it. And it's on record, so I'm not going to lie to you. I'm telling you what I said. Because you tell somebody, mother or the wife, that she wants a dildo and it's okay, I told you what I would have done to him. I am extremely serious when it comes to protection of women. I don't tolerate that. So there's nobody could tell me that this foolishness here is okay. And you tell me that Scarce could talk about how the man is a man's testicles and that's okay? What is really wrong with y'all? No, man. No. And now we're spewing nonsense about 60-40. How did we do that? There was no agreement. There was no further discussion to all of the possibilities. How is this okay? This is unacceptable behavior. And I don't want to be in any political party that always has to look good. Let me warn you about this. Any political party you know about that has to look good is led by a dictator or one who may be a murderer. Take my words, believe me, and you could check. Any political party who has to always look good, watch it. Watch it carefully. You watch it. When Darmla was accused of raping the 16-year-old girl, what did you see me do? I live in Linden. What did you see me do? You tell the world. What did you see me do? This is not about some political seat. We've gone beyond that. No man is going to get up here and lie about a woman. No, I am fine. I'll always be fine. So next week, tomorrow, any other day, we can have any conversation. But it's not going down like that in my presence. So let's be clear on this, please. I would that you'll have a wonderful evening. I trust that you'll do well and that you'll understand. All right? That you'll understand that you're not allowed to intimidate, harass, bully, and lie about any woman.
And I ask of you, darling Bess, to check Rico Scarce. For the sake of VPAC, check this boy. Because what he's made you look like and what Francis is doing here is not making you look decent. And then what you chose to do doesn't make you look better either. Women will think a very particular way about y'all if you think that this is okay to be intimidating, harassing, bullying, and defaming a female. Women, you say this is women of society, watch it. This does not look good. And I will tell the world that I want nothing to do with any man who treats women in this manner. I would tell you all that off the bat. There's no political maneuvering here with me. If you're not going to treat women with respect, don't come around me. Do we have an understanding? Do you all understand my position clearly here, please? Because like some people still cloudy. Let me lay the ground rule here in reference to me. There's no political movement here. This is me talking to y'all. If I am in any group where women are not going to be respected and valued, I don't want to deal with you. Are we clear? Have I made myself as clear as I should to all who are concerned? Because it comes down to this. This is where the rubber is on the road for me. I don't care what group it is, if you are going to ill-treat women, don't come around me because I will not be around you. So that is my position. That is my whole position. Politics doesn't mean that much to me. In reference again, as culture called politics, whereby that means more to me than protecting women. So if you know that you cannot have people who respect women, don't come around me. The media could write all they want. The press could say all they want. I am telling you my position. No man who disrespects a woman must come around me unless he's penitent and he changes his behavior. If he does not change his behavior, do not come around me. Too many women are being beaten, murdered, harassed, bullied, intimidated for me to say, oh, it's okay, it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal for me. So my case is on the table. We have huge matters at hand. We have the Chinese who are treating our Guyanese as though they're second and third class citizens. That's a problem that we have to deal with. We have matters to deal with in reference to how do we, as three different parties in the opposition, function as one. We cannot be in assembly and as we talk about win alone. There are three other parties. If he's the official leader of the opposition, there are two other groups that you have to speak with. We have huge things to deal with. We have to figure out how many Commonwealth nationals are really in our country floating around with ID cards. Claudette hasn't answered the question. We need to know how would the appellate court respond to a young lady named Crystal who is seeking to have answers in the High Court. And Anna thought it best to have her pay $2 million as a teacher to ask a question to have Constitution clarified. There are huge issues to deal with. We need to know how is it possible, or how would it be in this new political dynamic where Asadin has never spent a day in Parliament. Terence Campbell never spent a second in Parliament, and two of them are there leading the two larger groups of the opposition. These are all things to consider deeply. Not nonsense about Amanda hogging the seat. You're a grown man. We have business to take care of. We have a bridge that almost collapsed and killed somebody. Do you see me whining about seat? Let us know how to function as men. We have a highway, pitch black. Take yet another 2 lives. It's going by 2s and 3s nowadays. And Bharat doesn't see the need to tell people, tell Riascan, put solar lights on those posts so people can see at night. The highways are marked. You don't even know where you're going sometimes. We have huge issues in this country. Come on, man. So I would like to submit to you that all of you have so much issues. Please take your time. Take your time to focus on what matters. I thank you for yours. I'm grateful for yours. Good. And we move forward. There's work to be done. There's work to be done, and it shall be. I've addressed this. All you want to have questions answered, they've been answered tonight. So let's move forward from here. Y'all do well. Take care of yourselves and do well.